Assalamualaikum Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Evelyne Shafina from Accounting Education majoring, Faculty Economic at State University of Jakarta. I will be present my research proposal with the title is The Effect of Pressure, Rationalization's Religiosity Towards Academic Fraud. Before starting these presentations, I would like to thank Mr. Dr. Mardi, M.Si as the first supervisor and Mr. Achmad Fauzi, S.Pd, M.Ak as the second supervisor who helped me in completing this research proposal. Next, the background of my research. The responsibility of an education as a profession for the future, namely to create intelligent educational output, both intellectually and morally. According to Law Number 20 of 2003, Article 3 about the national education system, the purpose of national education is to develop the potential of students to become human beings who believe and fear God Almighty, have noble character, are healthy, knowledgeable, capable, creative, independent, and become citizens democratic and responsible. So that the level of success of an education is not only seen from the high and low values that have been achieved by students, but also the level of morality and skills possessed by these students. One problem that is still found in almost all educational institutions is academic fraud, which is a global problem and a serious problem in many countries. Many of them think that if they pass with the highest scores or cum laude, it will be easier to get the job, so they think that a good score is a measure of success for students. And then, students who have been accustomed to academic fraud since their schools or college days can cause future corporate scandals. Next, global phenomena regarding academic fraud that occurs in almost every country, such as studies at Ethiopian University in Pakistan, in India, studies in Croatia, in Egypt, in the UK, in the United States, at Harvard University, in several South Korean universities, and University of Georgia in the United States, which shows the existence of various forms of academic fraud with a high percentage. Furthermore, in Indonesia, there are still many forms of academic fraud, such as first, students take pictures and distribute the exam questions that are being worked on to the chat room line. Two, then jointly solve the questions. Second, in co-editing exams, many students use sophisticated digital watches to cheat on exam. Third, structured cheating in the form of remote computer control design in such a way that the sharing of the internet can be controlled with the teachers and cheating in doing exams. And then the fourth is during PJJ character education is tests such as honesty, responsibility, and discipline, as well as several surveys conducted in various places, such as a survey by the Litbang Media Group, survey in tertiary institutions in Makassar, academic fraud that is often done by students, and then the survey by the LPTK or Educational Personnel Education Institutions, which shows that various forms of academic frauds are still high. Next, these factors of academic frauds are pressure, rationalizations, and religiosity. First, pressure is occurs in University of Tasmania in Australia due to pressure to graduate from those courses, and then Harvard University due to the pressure that comes from the intense competitions between students while studying at Harvard, and then North University of China due to pressure to live up to his parents' expectations, and then the last is the concentrate of the COVID-19 pandemic due to pressure for students commit academic fraud. And then rationalizations. Research in the United States by college cures found that 53% of students thought cheating was not a big issue, and 34% of students admit their parents never talked to them about cheating. Even more surprising, 98% of students let a friend copy their assessments. And then the last is religiosity. The internal factors is very important in creating a good ethic and being responsible horizontally to fellow humans and vertically to God Almighty. So that religiosity will create good, honest, and dedicated humans research. So the problem formulations are: is there an effect of research on academic fraud? Is there an effect of rationalizations on academic fraud? Is there an effect of religiosity on academic fraud? And is there an effect of pressure, rationalizations, religiosity on academic fraud? And then the results of purpose are to determine the effect of pressure on academic fraud, to determine the effect of rationalizations on academic fraud, to determine the effect of religiosity on academic fraud, and to determine the effect of pressure, rationalizations, religiosity on academic fraud. Next, conceptual definitions of academic fraud. Academic fraud is a form of dishonest behavior by taking other people's job for one's own benefit in getting good achievements in academic. And indicators of academic frauds are cheating, plagiarism, facilitating academic fraud, falsifying information and documents, or fabrications or falsifications. And the last is lying and providing information. Next, conceptual definitions of pressure. Pressure is the pressure or encouragement of someone who comes from within him or outside himself to achieve a certain goal so as to motivate someone to commit acts of fraud. And then the indicator of pressure is too difficult and too many tasks, feeling unable to meet the passing standards, if not committing academic fraud due to high and tight competitions, too difficult a test, and then students can't manage time. Next, conceptual definitions of rationalizations. Rationalizations is an act of seeking justification for fraud or fraud that is committed because it considers something normal and everyone also does the same thing. And then the indicators of rationalizations are: first, unfair teacher police and judgments; second, teachers who don't adequately embrace the consequence of being caught cheating; and then the third is school don't detect cheating. Next, conceptual definitions of religiosity. Religiosity is a person's level of belief and appreciations of his religion so that encourages him to behave and act according to religious teachings in everyday life. And then the indicators of religiosity are dimension of belief, dimension of religious practice, dimension of appreciations, dimension of religious knowledge, and then dimensions of practice. Next, this is the relevant research and theoretical framework: effect of pressure on academic fraud, effect of rationalizations on academic fraud, effect of religiosity on academic fraud, and effect of pressure, rationalizations, religiosity on academic fraud. Which is of the experts state: the higher the pressure received by a person, the greater the pressure in committing an act of cheating, and then the greater the pressure of rationalizations, the greater the behavior of academic fraud, and then the last is the higher a person's level of faith or religions, the lower the cheating that occurs. Next, constellations of influence between variables. They are independence variable and dependent variable. Independence variable are pressure, rationalizations, and religiosity, and then the dependent variable is academic fraud. So the hypothesis of formulations are: there is an effect of pressures on academic fraud, there is an effect of rationalizations on academic fraud, there is an effect of religiosity on academic fraud, and there is an effect of pressure, rationalizations, religiosity on academic fraud. Next, research methodology. The place of research in 13 vocational high school in West Jakarta. The periods of research on February until March 2021, and then the method is quantitative with primary data survey methods, and then the populations are 108 students in 11 grades of accounting majoring with a sample of 85 students, and then the data collections is distributions of online questionnaires with a Likert scale. Next data analysis technique used are test requirements analysis consists normality test and linearity test, classic assumption test consists multicollinearity test and heteroscedasticity test, and then multiple regressions equations analysis, and then hypothesis test consists T test and F test, and then multiple correlations coefficient test, and the last is determinations coefficient test. Okay, that's all my presentations. I'm so sorry if there are any mistake. Thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.